Welcome to another AP Human Geography topic walkthrough, brought to you by Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is here to help you fill out your lecture notes, understand the big ideas, and maybe even laugh once or twice. So grab your notes and let's get started.
Welcome to the wild world of culture, where grandma's secret recipe, your favorite TikTok slang, and the way your house is built all actually matter to geographers. In this lesson, we're diving into the invisible and visible things that shape human life, from traditional tribes in Papua New Guinea to global pop trends that make every Starbucks look exactly the same. Yeah, we're talking about artifacts, mentefacts, sociofacts, and trust me, it's not as dusty as it sounds. Let's get into it. All right, squad, here's what we're unlocking in this unit. Geographers aren't just obsessed with maps and Google Earth. They're also culture detectives, analyzing everything from food and fashion to beliefs and behaviors. Culture isn't just vibes, it's shared attitudes, tech, values, and ways people act, all passed down like family recipes or questionable holiday traditions. You'll learn to spot cultural traits like land use, architecture, and food preferences, and get comfy with two big deal terms: cultural relativism and ethnocentrism. Trust me, they sound fancy, but they show up everywhere, from history class to Twitter arguments. Speaking of traits, let's break down what culture is really made of. Culture is like the ultimate group project. It includes everything a society shares: beliefs, values, behaviors, traditions, and yes, even their go-to tech. It's what shapes how people live, think, and interact, from grandma's dumpling recipe to who runs the local government. Now, when geographers break this down, they look at something called cultural traits. These are the pieces, both visible and invisible, that make up a group's culture. We're talking about things you can see, things people believe, and even how they behave as a group. These traits fall into three categories: artifacts, sociofacts, and mentefacts. Don't worry if those sound like spell names from Harry Potter. We're about to break them down one by one, starting with artifacts, the stuff you can actually touch and see. Artifacts are the visible, physical objects a culture creates. Basically the stuff you could post on Instagram. We're talking houses, clothing, architecture, tools, furniture, even toys. These things give geographers real-world clues about how a culture lives and what it values. Take the image on this slide. It shows Buddhist monks presenting alms bowls at Wat Benchama Bofit in Bangkok, Thailand, also known as the Marble Temple. It's not just a gorgeous piece of architecture, it's so iconic, it's literally printed on the back of Thailand's 5 baht coin. That's how deep its cultural meaning runs. Artifacts like these help paint a picture of how a society expresses itself through design, structure, and everyday objects. But culture isn't just about what we can see. It's also about how people are organized. Let's move from things to systems. Time to talk sociofacts. Now let's level up from physical stuff to the rules of the game, sociofacts. These are the ways a society organizes itself. Think of it like the social blueprint: how families are structured, how schools and governments operate, how land is used, what roles men and women play, and how religion shapes daily life. And this image? It's not just aesthetically fire, it's a full-on sociofact showcase. We're back at the Marble Temple in Thailand, where Buddhist monks receive offerings. This daily ritual reflects religion, which is a major sociofact. And in Thailand, Buddhism isn't just common, it's dominant. Around 95% of the population practices it. The government doesn't have an official state religion, but the king is required to be Buddhist. That's some serious integration of religion and politics. Now let's talk land use. Thailand isn't just sprinkled with temples, it's covered. We're talking hundreds of temples shaping the physical and cultural landscape. And this specific temple? It's such a big deal, it's literally featured on Thai currency. So yeah, from religion to government to land use, this one photo is dripping in sociofacts. But what about the deeper beliefs and values that guide these behaviors? That's where mentefacts come in. Time to go straight to the brain of the culture. Mentefacts are the deep stuff, the beliefs, values, ideas, and knowledge that shape how a culture thinks. These are the things you can't see, but they totally drive everything else. Think religious beliefs, language, and even food preferences and taboos. This photo once again gives us a front row seat to Buddhist culture in Thailand, and it's loaded with mentefacts. Let's start with the robes. They're not just for show. Buddhist monks wear them as a symbol of simplicity and detachment from material things. That's a major flex in Buddhism, which teaches the three universal truths, the Four Noble Truths, and the Eightfold Path. All core values that guide life, purpose, and inner peace. Language-wise, many monks in Thailand actually speak Pali, the ancient liturgical language of early Buddhist scriptures. And when it comes to food, Buddhist monks in Thailand eat only once a day. That's not a diet trend. It's a spiritual practice tied to discipline and mindfulness. Mentefacts shape how people view the world, what they value, and how they make meaning out of life. And just like that, we've now covered all three pillars of culture: artifacts, sociofacts, and mentefacts. But culture doesn't always look the same everywhere. In fact, some cultures stay pretty local, while others go viral. Let's break down the difference between traditional and global culture. Local or traditional culture is all about the small and the specific. These are tight-knit, often rural communities made up of people who share a lot in common: language, traditions, beliefs, and who tend to live in isolation from the rapidly changing outside world. Change? Yeah, not really their thing. The photo shows an epic cultural festival in Papua New Guinea, celebrating the heritage of the Kutubu Fo and Faso people, along with nearby tribes like the Bosavi and Huli. This isn't your average weekend market. We're talking full-on sing-sings with body paint, chanting, sacred drum beats, traditional crafts, and even tours of the houseman, or men's house. It's a vibrant, living example of a local culture that holds on tightly to its roots. This kind of culture helps people maintain a strong sense of identity and place, but what exactly makes it look and feel so different? Let's break down the key traits that define local culture. Now that we've zoomed in on local culture, let's talk about what gives it its signature vibe. Traditional cultures tend to use whatever the land gives them. Their architecture is made from local materials: snow, mud, stone, bricks, wood, pelts, grass. Basically, the OG version of shop local. Just look at the Thule winter house in the image. Its floors are made of flagstones, and the roof is literally held up by whale bones and covered in slabs of rock, with sod piled on top for insulation. It's not just functional, it's perfectly adapted to Arctic life. When it comes to land use, local cultures are typically agricultural. But there's something deeper going on, a powerful sense of place. That's the emotional and cultural connection people feel to their environment. It's what makes a location feel distinct, meaningful, and irreplaceable. But not all cultures are tied to one place like that. Some are designed to spread, fast, wide, and online. Time to explore global culture. Global culture is like the viral side of culture. Fast, flashy, and found literally everywhere. It's made up of large, diverse groups of people, usually living in urban areas and staying connected through globalization, the internet, and social media. Instead of traditions passed down for centuries, it's often the latest trend that dropped last week. This type of culture spreads rapidly thanks to something called time-space compression. Basically, technology shrinks the world. What starts in Seoul or LA can end up in your feed in 5 seconds flat. Just take a look at the slide. Among Us, TikTok, Tiger King mullets, all of it went global in a matter of days. And unlike traditional culture, global culture changes constantly. What's in today might be cringe by next month. But how does this kind of culture actually shape the world around us? Let's check out the traits that define it, starting with how it builds, lives, and uses space. Alright, let's talk about what global culture actually looks like on the ground. And spoiler alert, it's probably near a Starbucks. Architecture in global culture usually comes from manufactured materials. We're talking glass, steel, drywall, and cement. It's sleek, modern, and mass-produced, which means you'll see the same styles pop up in cities around the world. No whalebones or mud bricks here. Land use is mostly urban and suburban, built for shopping, scrolling, and commuting. But here's the plot twist. When everywhere starts looking the same, you get something called placelessness. That's when places lose their uniqueness, becoming so similar they blend together. One suburb looks like the next. One mall feels like every other mall. And nothing really makes you stop and go, "Wow, I've never seen that before." It's a uniform landscape, optimized for convenience, but often lacking soul. And that brings us to a major theme in culture: how people react to differences, especially ones that feel unfamiliar or uncomfortable. Let's dive into cultural attitudes. Culture doesn't just tell us what to eat or how to dress, it also shapes what we accept and what we reject. That's where cultural norms and taboos come in. Cultural norms are the expected behaviors in a society, the unspoken rules everyone's just supposed to know. But on the flip side, taboos are behaviors that are seriously frowned upon, or even straight up forbidden, depending on where you are. Take the Yulin Lychee and Dog Meat Festival in China. Every summer, thousands of dogs are eaten during this 10-day event, a tradition with roots going back hundreds of years. In Chinese folklore, eating dog meat in the summer is believed to bring good health, luck, and even, allegedly, boost male performance. Yeah, that's a thing. To people in that culture, it's a norm. But to many outsiders, especially in Western countries where dogs are seen as beloved pets, it's a major taboo. This example shows how attitudes toward certain behaviors can vary wildly depending on cultural context. Which brings us to two powerful ways people view cultural differences: ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. Let's break those down next. Ethnocentrism is when people judge other cultures by the standards of their own. And usually it comes with the belief that their culture is better. It's like putting on blinders made of your own values and assuming that anything different must be wrong, weird, or backward. The images on this slide show a perfect example. On the left, you see different types of veiling worn by Muslim women: hijab, niqab, burqa, and more. These garments carry deep cultural and religious meaning in many Islamic societies. But then, there's the cartoon on the right, where two women from totally different cultural backgrounds are judging each other for how they dress. Each assumes the other is trapped in an oppressive system, without realizing they're both seeing things through the lens of their own culture. That's ethnocentrism in action, and it can lead to stereotypes, misunderstandings, and even conflict. But there's another way to approach cultural differences, one that focuses on understanding instead of judgment. Let's check out cultural relativism. Cultural relativism is basically the opposite of ethnocentrism. Instead of judging other cultures, it's about trying to understand them on their own terms. The goal is to see cultural practices not as weird or wrong, but as different, and often meaningful to the people who live by them. The cartoon here says it all. One person offers deep-fried crickets and says they're delicious. The other doesn't immediately gag or judge. Instead, he says, "I'm not used to eating crickets. Can you tell me why you like them?" That's cultural relativism in action, asking questions, listening, and trying to understand a practice that's outside your norm. When you approach cultures this way, you're less likely to think one is better than another. Instead, you start to see value in why people do what they do, and that opens the door to real understanding. Now, before we wrap it all up, let's run it back and hit the key takeaways from today's cultural deep dive. Alright, let's hit rewind and lock in what we just learned, because that smug little baby definitely knows what's up. We broke down what culture is, not just the food or clothing, but also the beliefs, values, and behaviors that shape how societies function. We explored the big three traits: artifacts, sociofacts, and mentafacts. Then we zoomed in on local culture, rooted in tradition and place, and compared it to global culture, which spreads fast and tends to look the same from city to city. We also looked at how people react to cultural differences, from norms and taboos to the judgmental lens of ethnocentrism versus the understanding mindset of cultural relativism. So now the question is, can you take what you've learned and apply it like a true culture-savvy geographer? Let's find out with your bonus question. You've made it through the culture gauntlet. But before we call it a day, here's one last challenge to flex those geo-brains. What's one way you could tell if a culture is local or global just by looking at it? Think about the traits, architecture, land use, beliefs, and explain how they give it away. Drop your answer in the comments and back it up with an example from the lesson. And don't forget to tag your name for that bonus point. Stay curious, stay clever, and stay culturally aware.